All right, friends, today I want to talk about the mirror principle. Okay, so we know without exception, when you look in a regular physical mirror, that if you notice your hat is crooked or there is a piece of dirt on your forehead, you don't try to fix the reflection. Obviously, you understand that the appropriate course of action is to fix the image, right? You being the image. By the way, just remember you were created Selam Elohim in the image of God. Anyways, um, so how does this apply to our manifestation work? Well, so let me back up. What you see in the mirror is the reflection of the image. You are the image. Why am I hammering this home? Why am I like mansplaining this? Sorry, guys. You know I love you. And I will tell you. And the answer is because the physical world around us is a mirror. The only thing that we ever experience is our own consciousness. Consciousness is everything, everything is consciousness. So if the mirror, aka the 3D world of the five senses, see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, is telling us, for example, that we are broke, okay? Then this is signaling to us that either in the past or presently, and usually is in the past because there is a delay, which is the topic of today's video, that we had a consciousness of poverty. Sorry, I was just checking. Okay, it's on. So, and this applies to every aspect of our life. If we are unhealthy, right, God forbid, then it's telling us we have a consciousness that is lacking in that sector of our lives. Or if a person has a wonderful, fulfilling, loving, harmonious, joyous, co-creative partnership, then that is feedback that that is the relationship that we have with that person internally, our internal relationship, and also our internal relationship with ourselves. So why are so many people frustrated when it comes to manifestation? And the answer, well, there's many answers, but a very common answer is because with a regular physical mirror, if you raise your arm or smile, the reflection is immediate, okay? There's no lag time or delay. Imagine if you stood in front of the mirror and as you stepped in front of the mirror, there was no reflection. It was just blank, right? Like you could see the background behind you, but you couldn't see you. A little bit disconcerting. And then as time went on, your image materialized, but you had a poo-poo face. So you smile. But the smile in the reflection doesn't catch up for like 3 minutes. It'd be very weird. So that is the mirror of our physical circumstances. When we start to change our self-concept, and you can use the words self-concept, identity, and consciousness all interchangeably. You could even say belief system, because a person's identity or consciousness is really only a set of beliefs. And what is a belief? A belief is a thought that you keep thinking again and again. And the rub is that most of these thoughts are on autopilot. So we're not even aware, like a lot of cars on the road today, we're not even aware that we're thinking these thoughts. Okay, and you can't change what you're not aware of, right? And like, let's say, God forbid, there's a leak in your bank account, but you don't know about it. So you can't do anything to solve the problem as long as you don't know that it's happening, okay? So the step number one is to become aware of your thoughts. Like really tune in to that voice that's constantly chattering away. And 99% of you listening to this video will find that it is fear-based. Oh gosh, I don't want this to happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to lose this good thing that I have. I don't want to be late. I don't want this situation to have a certain outcome to go this way. So that's number one. That's why people wonder why the things that they don't want keep showing up in their lives, because they're constantly running this loop of fear. Okay. So that's number one. I didn't know we were doing a numbered system. As I always say on these videos, I just come up with a topic and then I get on here and I riff. I don't have notes. I don't have bullet points. Obviously, I'm driving. That would be kind of dangerous. And even before I go any further, I will introduce myself. My name is Chana. I am a manifestation coach, spiritual teacher, energy healer, divorce and family mediator, former police officer of 20 years, and in other words, I'm a lot of things. And on this channel, I just try to talk about manifestation in a very healthy, grounded, practical way. I mean, it is magical, but we infuse the magic into the mundane. All of my teachings are sourced in the wisdom of Kabbalah. And I would say that my teaching in general is like a hybrid of Kabbalah and Reality Transurfing, Neville Goddard, Law of Assumption. If you just rolled those all into a big ball, that would be what I try to communicate here. And I do talk a lot about the topic of family court and divorce and relationships in general, because I think that, I mean, look, it's love and money where people get most hung up, right? I mean, also health, but I'm talking about things outside the body. So that is, we talk a lot about that on this channel. And again, we come at it from a very practical perspective. Again, my background, my professional background, my own personal experience, everything gets woven into what you will hear on this channel. Okay, so back to the mirror principle and our consciousness and our identity. So it's telling us who we thought we were in the past. Now here's the really interesting part. In the Bible, there is a story about Lot's wife and how they were told when they were fleeing the city of Sodom that not to look back. And she did look back and was turned into a pillar of salt. Now, there's different explanations for why. One of the explanations is actually that she looked back to see the demise of her enemies, which is not something we want to do. And also, the main one, the one that I want to focus on, is she turned to salt. So let's put it a different way. Let's say a person wants to lose weight and they look in the mirror and they don't like what they see, and they're like, okay, I'm committing to this, diet and exercise program. And yet they're spending like hours a day just looking at their body in the mirror, which is, by the way, a result of past decisions, past thoughts and actions. And they're just like ruminating over what they see. All right. I think we can all agree that wouldn't be very healthy or effective, productive. So it's the same way with the mirror of our lives. If we look out into the world and we don't like what we see, all right, and we come to the awareness, excuse me, that what we are seeing is a reflection of our consciousness. So if we're seeing poverty, if we're seeing broken relationships, if we're seeing, I don't know, toxicity in our work environment, whatever it is, then we glance at it, we see it. You could say you zoom in, but then you zoom right back out, and then you go about selecting the image from your imagination you would like to see. All right, in Reality Transurfing, this is called the positive slide or the goal slide. I might be dating myself a little bit here, but for those of you who remember those old projectors, and you put in that little slide, and then it would push the light through, and it would project the image onto a screen. So whatever your goal is, whatever your desired image is, your desired outcome, that is what you really want to ingrain into your consciousness, because your nervous system will naturally manifest that. If you've ever heard the saying, the hands do what the heart fears, also the hands do what the heart desires if your heart and mind are unified. Now, when somebody is in a state of fear or hatred, that's a very strong emotion, their heart and mind are unified, and in fact, their hands will be driven to manifest the very thing they fear. And by the way, I will see this in family court a lot, where somebody is afraid of a certain circumstance, right? They are afraid of getting into a legal battle. They are afraid of their kids being taken away. They are afraid of, I don't know what. And like that fear will actually drive their nervous system, their body, to do the actions automatically, like as if they don't have any free will, that will manifest the very thing that they're afraid of. Okay. And then they're like I knew this was going to happen, or I don't know, like it's so we want to have the opposite, as a practiced thought, habit, belief of the opposite, so that the nervous system, the hands, automatically do the actions that manifest the desired outcome. Okay, people think they're thinking about what they desire, but they're really thinking about what they don't want. The psychological drive to avoid pain is much higher than the drive to obtain pleasure. Okay, we will run away from pain farther and faster than we will run towards pleasure. And we hear people say this when they say things like, oh, my ex hates me more than he loves our kids. That's true, because we are naturally, as humans, wired towards the negative, and it is that way by design, because if we were naturally wired towards the positive, then we would not have the opportunity and challenge to consciously choose the positive, and it wouldn't be a challenge, right? Like if you were born just naturally gifted and talented in every single area, and you really didn't have to work at anything, you might think for a moment that that sounds exciting, but you would become bored very, very quickly. Unfortunately, we like the challenge. I should say, fortunately or unfortunately. And in this case, somebody's at my house.